अभी मैं क्या कहूँ। ऐसा मधुर कीर्तन के बाद मैं क्या कहूँ। तो 4914। जय राम। तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलम् श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। कल्पान्त एतत् अखिलं जठरेण गृह्णन्।
कल्पान्त एतदखिलं जठरेण गृह्णान्
कल्पान्त एतदखिलं जठरेण गृह्णन्।
कल्पान्त एतदखिलं
चेते पुमान् स्वदृगनन्तसखस्तदङ्के।
जठरेण पुमान्
चेते पुमान् स्वदृगनन्तसखस्तदङ्के।
चेते पुमान् अनन्तसकस्तकान्ति
यन्नाभिसिन्धुरुह काञ्चनलोकपद्मा।
यन्नाभिसिन्धुरुखकाञ्चनलोकपदम्
यन्नाभिसिन्धुरुह काञ्चनलोकपद्मा। गर्भेद्युमान् भगवते प्रणतोऽस्मि तस्मै।
गर्भे
गर्भेद्युमान् भगवते प्रणतोऽस्मि तस्मै। कल्पान्तते तदखिलं जठरेण गृह्णन्। शेते पुमान् स्वदृगनन्तसकस्तदङ्के। यन्नाभिसिन्धुरुह काञ्चनलोकपद्मम्। गर्भेद्युमान् भगवते प्रणतोऽस्मि तस्मै। Anyone else? कल्पान्तदेतदखिलं जठरेण गृह्णन्। शेते पुमान् स्वदृगनन्तसखस्तदङ्के। नाभिसिन्धुरुह काञ्चनलोकपद्मा। गर्भेद्युमान् भगवते प्रणतोऽस्मि तस्मै। Kalpa ante, at the end of the millennium, etat, this universe, akhilam, all, jatarena, within the belly, grihnan, withdrawing, shete, lies down, puman, the supreme person, swadrik, looking upon himself, ananta, unlimited being shesha, sakha, accompanied by tat anke, on his lap, yat, from whose nabhi, navel, sindhu, ocean, ruha, sprouted, kanchana, loka, sorry, golden, loka, planet, padma, of the lotus, garbhe, on the world, Dyuma, Lord Brahma, Bhagavate, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Pranataha, offering obeisances, Asmi, I am, Tasmai, unto him. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Lord, at the end of each millennium, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, dissolves everything manifested within the universe into his belly. He lies down on the lap of Shesha. Now, from his navel sprouts a golden lotus flower on a stem, and on that lotus, Lord Brahma is created. I can understand that you are the same Supreme Godhead. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport: Dhruva Maharaj's understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is complete. In the Vedas, it is said, Yasmin Vigyate Sarvam Evam Vigyatam Bhavati. Knowledge received through the transcendental causeless mercy of the Lord is so perfect that by knowledge the devotee becomes acquainted with all the different manifestations of the Lord. Lord Kshirodakshaya Vishnu was present before Dhruva Maharaj, who could also understand the Lord's two other forms, namely Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Karanodakshaya Mahavishnu. Regarding Mahavishnu, it is stated in the Brahma Samhita, Yasaika Nisvasita Kala Mathavalambhya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadanda Natha Vishnu Mahan Sahihasya Kala Visheshu Govindamani Purusham Tamam Bhajami. At the end of each and every millennium, when all the material worlds are dissolved, everything enters the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is lying on the lap of Sheshanag, another form of the Lord. Those who are not devotees cannot understand the different forms of Vishnu and their positions in regard to the creation. Sometimes the atheists argue, how could a flower stem sprout from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu? They consider all the statements of the Shastras to be stories. As a result of their inexperience in the absolute truth and their reluctance to accept authority, they become more and more atheistic. They cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but a devotee like Dhruva Maharaj, by the grace of the Lord, knows all the manifestations of the Lord and their different positions. It is said that anyone who has even a little of the Lord's grace can understand his glories. Others may go on speculating on the absolute truth, but they will always be unable to understand the Lord. In other words, unless one comes in contact with a devotee, one comes in contact with a devotee, it is not possible to understand the transcendental form or the spiritual world and its transcendental activities. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam Yen Tasmai Shri Gurave Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripasindhubhyo Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo. Hare Krishna. So my humble obeisances to all the devotees. Only by your presence and by your blessings I can speak something in glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, the translation. My dear Lord, at the end of each millennium, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, dissolves everything manifested within the universe into his belly. He lies down on the lap of Sheshanag. From his navel sprouts a golden lotus flower on a stem, and on that lotus, Lord Brahma is created. I can understand that you are the same Supreme Godhead. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So, now we are going into the prayers of Maharaj Dhruva, who is a very, very special devotee of the Lord, because he actually got that kind of mercy from the Lord, that kind of special mercy from the Lord, which is the ultimate mercy of the Supreme Lord, is actually the revelation. Revelation is the ultimate mercy of the Lord. Any realization or revelation we get in our spiritual life is the greatest gift, actually. So, as we go more and more in Krishna consciousness, we realize actually that spiritual life means two things. It means to be uh, to not have any anxiety, and to not have any anxiety to work on the eternal platform. And the third aspect is to experience the bliss. To experience the bliss. Like that is the difference between a devotee seeing the Lord and a non-devotee seeing the Lord. When a non-devotee sees the Lord, or someone who has no faith sees the Lord, he does not experience that. Why? Because that bliss is based on the relationship. Bliss can only be obtained when someone has a relationship with the Supreme Lord. Everyone sees the same Krishna, the same Radharani, but they reciprocate differently based on the individual surrender, the individual endeavor to please them. Actually, if we can just adopt this one principle, Prabhupada said, Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhak. One pointed without any reservation just becoming anxious about the pleasure of the Lord. Like today morning, I was reading a quote by um, my spiritual master, and he was saying that although Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead, but devotees are always so much concerned that if I don't care, if I don't serve the Supreme Lord, then he will be so much inconvenienced. And in this way, they 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 never go to the Lord to ask for any material desires, but they simply want to serve him more and more and more. So that is a spiritual world actually. The spiritual world, there is unlimited anxiety for the Supreme Lord. Unlimited. Because to the level that one is sensitive to the Lord, that much service is available. That much service attitude will be created in the heart. It's like the greatest servant of Krishna is Srimati Radharani, Sri Radha. And why is she the greatest servitor of Krishna? Because she is more sensitive. She has the greatest sensitivity to the desires of the Lord. Therefore, her service is unlimited. Actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita is mentioned that the earrings of Srimati Radharani are actually the name and fame. I mean, are actually the glories, uh, the fame of the Supreme Lord. So just we can imagine that uh, what is her position, that with every breath, with every thought, she is increasing the glory, increasing the fame of Krishna. That how wonderful. Actually, that is her duty as a Hladini Shakti, is to draw out the most amazing qualities of Krishna. She is the greatest servant of Krishna because she can extract the most extraordinary qualities of Krishna. So we are so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada gave us Srimati Radharani, because if Prabhupada did not decide to install or speak about her, how would we know? Actually, I was just seeing Bhagavatam. What extraordinary Prabhupada is such a genius. Actually, anyone who says that Prabhupada has not given everything is a fool, is a fool. I was just looking at the Bhagavatam cover, the first canto. This is Srila Prabhupada. So on one side is Mahaprabhu Nityananda Prabhu, Golok Navadvip. It's very easy to understand. On the other side is Krishna and the gopis. And this is a very special picture. I was just meditating on this picture. This picture is actually what happened um, after Krishna left the Rasa dance, and then Krishna came back. Then, of course, we all know that Krishna acted in that way. He left to actually increase the love uh, that the gopis had for him. So after he came back, all the gopis actually asked Krishna that what type of lover are you? There are different kinds of lovers. Some kind of lovers, they reciprocate proportionately the love of the other person. Some people are uh, indifferent, and some people are, they even behave in an opposite way. In this world, we see that happens, kamesha, krodesha. But what type of lover are you? Krishna says, I don't fall in that category. I am that kind of lover who acts in such a way to increase the love of my devotees. That's who I am. And in this way, Krishna then starts in Krishna book, Prabhupada says, Krishna starts apologizing that please forgive me. And it's a very deep mood actually. It is the deepest mood of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is expressing his indebtedness to his most exalted devotees, and that is Lord Chaitanya. So see how expertly I was just appreciating Srila Prabhupada, that how much a genius Prabhupada is. In everything Prabhupada did, Prabhupada was, on one hand, Prabhupada was very, very strict, and Prabhupada was, you know, in the mode of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. He was following all the rules and regulations like line on a stone. And Prabhupada, everything gave everything perfectly, perfectly. Uh, but at the same time, Prabhupada this is actually the nature of a Brajvasi. A Brajvasi, on one hand, he is very, very um, uh, on one hand, an acharya, is very, very careful to actually make sure that the disciples um, follow the regulative principles. But at the same time, there's a part of the acharya's heart which is very eager to give the highest, to give the most precious thing to everyone. Just like a mother has a mood to actually give the best to her children. Sometimes the children may be very naughty, they may even beat the mother, they may even hurt the mother. But later, after chastising the child, the mother will give uh, the best thing she has, right? So that's the nature of even material relationship. So what to speak of a spiritual relationship with it? So we are so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada gave us actually all of Prabhupada's purports. Every one of Prabhupada's purports are actually permeated with this mode of Vrindavan, highest mode of Vrindavan. Since all of Prabhupada's purports are permeated with that. So we are so fortunate to have such a Srila Prabhupada who gave us such an exalted and such a precious thing, because Prabhupada knew that this is the only force that works in Kali Yuga. The only force that works in Kali Yuga is attraction. Unless you give something which is attractive, you cannot control the mind. What tapasya we can do, what austerity we can do. So we have we are so fortunate to have such a Srila Prabhupada. So um, whatever I'm speaking is not coming from me. It's coming from this garland. It's coming from all of the devotees sitting. So it never belongs to me. So it's all because of your presence and prayers and your mercy. So yeah, in the translations mentioned that how Lord Brahma, he is coming from the lotus flower, the lotus flower. So it's very interesting that Dhruva Maharaj is actually glorifying Brahma. Why? Because Brahma, he got the order to do tapasya. He did tapasya, and after doing tapasya, actually it's mentioned, Prabhupada mentioned that Brahma heard the flute song of Krishna, and that is actually the Gayatri mantra. So, in the same way, we can see parallelly, Dhruva Maharaj, after performing so much tapasya, attained the touch of the conchal of the Lord. And in that way, everything became revealed in his heart. So, this is very important. The transcendental causeless mercy of the Lord. Anything knowledge received through the transcendental causeless mercy of the Lord. What does that mean? It means that when Krishna makes the arrangement, then that is a perfect arrangement. So that's why Shikhaye Sharanagati Bhakatera Pran. The life of devotion is actually surrender. Surrender is the only way we can avail the transcendental causeless mercy of the Lord. So in this age of Kali, the transcendental causeless mercy of the Lord, the first mercy of the Lord is actually the holy name. The name of the Lord is not different from the Lord. And whatever we will receive in our spiritual life will be through the name. So we have to be very deeply dedicated to the holy name. The last verse of Bhagavatam is the glory of the name. So um, everything we're doing in Krishna consciousness is actually to develop an affection for the holy name, a taste for the holy name. So here it is mentioned that how when Dhruva Maharaj got the mercy, the transcendental causes mercy, he got the revelation that he was able to understand everything. Yesterday I was just meditating. What is real knowledge? Real knowledge is Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito, which means actually real knowledge means that knowledge that always makes us attracted to Krishna. Not just remember Krishna when I'm not there, but attracted to Krishna. So if we can remember something about Krishna, anything, Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna's devotees, or even Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, that is actually the mercy. That is the transcendental causes mercy. When we are on that platform, when we are of attraction to Krishna, on that in that consciousness, then whatever we see, of course, whatever we touch, we will remember Krishna. And that remembrance of Krishna will purify us so that we can understand the forms of the Lord. Because the Lord has multifarious energies. Parasha Shakti Vividaiva Shruyate. And actually, every one of Krishna's forms, whether it's Rama, whether it's Kurma, it's Nrsimhadev, actually is simply a spark of the splendor of Krishna's Vrindavan Leela. So everything is actually a glorification of Krishna's Vrindavan Leela. So actually, Sripad Ayendra Prabhu mentioned one time that how actually, this is his words, that how the residents of Rajabhumi, they glorify all of Krishna's incarnations. And they think of all those incarnations in such a way that it glorifies his Vrindavan feature. Everything. Like, for example, recently we had Lord Ramchandra. So, Lord Ramchandra, he is actually Maryada Purushottam. What is the ultimate Maryada for the Lord? Ultimate Maryada, ultimate rule by which the Lord uh, uh, performs his pastimes eternally is um, the only rule that Krishna actually cares about is whether he can please his devotees or not. If he can please his devotees, he'll follow a rule. If he cannot please his devotees, he'll throw away that rule. So we can see in like Lord Ramchandra's case that Dashrath Maharaj is actually the eternal father of Lord Ramchandra. So just to please Dashrath Maharaj, he went to the forest. He made so many sacrifices simply to please his devotees. That is the same thing Krishna does in Vrindavan. Krishna does so many sacrifices, so many sacrifices. At the end of each and every millennium, when all the material worlds are dissolved, everything enters the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, who is lying on the lap of Sheshanag, another form of the Lord. So um, there is creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Partial dissolution, complete annihilation, destruction. So this has been going on eternally. But Dhruva Maharaj is actually realizing the glory of the Lord, that how the Lord is maintaining all the universes. And actually, it's quite fascinating for devotees to understand, because when we see how the Lord is responsible for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution, then what happens is we see everything as part and parcel of the Lord. And then we can remember the Lord more and more. Actually, what is knowledge? Knowledge means to see everything related to Krishna. Anything which is unrelated to Krishna, if something you see is different from Krishna, then that is Maya. And what is Maya? Forgetfulness of Krishna. So the purpose of all the scripture is to always remember Krishna and never forget him. So knowledge means to understand that. That is the difference between a pure devotee and a fallen person like me. So a pure devotee, he sees everything as part and parcel of Krishna. I mean, I don't want to mm, contaminate anyone's mind, but what is it? One time Prabhupada was glorifying. See, this is the vision of a pure devotee. Who is a pure devotee? A pure devotee is someone who um, who actually has neither hate nor does he like this material world, but he sees this material world simply the reflection of a spiritual world. He does not hate or like anything. He is neither detached nor is he attached. If something is related to Krishna, he has something, he uses it, otherwise, he simply discards it. So Prabhupada was actually glorifying to a sannyasi, Prabhupada was glorifying uh, the women in New York. And Prabhupada was saying that they are so beautiful. And Prabhupada said that just like Krishna, this is simply a spark of Krishna's splendor. Whatever quality they have is coming from Krishna's beauty, infinite beauty. So in this way, when we understand the creation, that's why Bhagavatam, understanding the um, creation, understanding the philosophy is very important. Why? Because two things happen. It purifies us and it helps us to understand deeply. It gives us the deep faith of how everything is actually related to Krishna. Because what is the problem? Why do we forget Krishna? Because we see things which are not related to Him. We're not able to understand. But by studying the creation, the maintenance and destruction in Bhagavatam, we actually understand how everything is related to Krishna. And that helps us remember Krishna and it deepens our faith in Krishna. That how we say Krishna loves us or Krishna cares for us, but in how many ways Krishna actually loves us, in how many ways Krishna cares for us. Right from giving us this human form, like giving us this body to understand Him, to worship Him. How much merciful is Krishna? Krishna has created this very convoluted system in our body so that we can comfortably perform bhakti to Him. That is Krishna's purpose. What an incredible creation Krishna has done. And this material world, that Krishna so expert, that Krishna has created this world in such a way that we can surrender to Him how much ever we are comfortable. So if we choose 1%, 1%, 2%, 2%, of course, we say that we should surrender 100%, but at the same time, uh, we also appreciate that how much Krishna is giving a chance to everyone. It's not that Krishna is saying if you don't completely surrender, you're gone. No, Krishna is always giving a chance to everyone. That's how much merciful Krishna is. Like, Narsingadev, even after killing Hiranyakashipu, still Narsingadev inspired Prahlad to pray for his father. So Hiranyakashipu, although of course there are different understandings, but although Hiranyakashipu is Hiranyakashipu, but Hiranyakashipu is glorified. Why? Because of Prahlad. So Krishna is so merciful. Krishna has created this world. Krishna has created this process. Krishna has made so many wonderful devotees. Krishna is the active principle of everything. And Krishna's mercy is actually permeating through everything. That is actually the vision of a pure devotee, that he sees Krishna's mercy everywhere. Krishna's mercy flowing everywhere through everyone. Like even through a non-devotee, he learns that how, what is the consequence of not surrendering to Krishna. So he learned something from everyone. A pure devotee can learn something from everyone. Just like the Avanti Brahmana, he, yeah, yeah, sorry, yeah. I mean, the Avadut Brahmana, but the Avanti Brahmana also. The Avanti Brahmana, how he was actually insulted, by persons after he took to the path of spiritual life, and how from that difficult situation he actually learned about the importance of fixing the mind on Krishna, fixing the mind on Krishna. And just this is the ultimate thing that Dhruva Maharaj, see, you can get inspiration from anything to do anything. So it's, you cannot predict. We all have experience that actually I'm speaking about myself, that I think that I am in control of my inspirations, but actually I have no control. But Krishna inspired Dhruva Maharaj in such a way that he desired to give up everything, simply surrender, and just seek the direct darshan of Krishna, which, you know, for even any devotee in any, sampradaya, it's very difficult to correlate with that. Like, just think about it, that if someone tells you, doesn't give you so much knowledge and says, you chant Hare Krishna, you'll see Krishna face to face. So how easy, how difficult, I mean, how difficult is it to just accept that and become very enthusiastic to pursue that goal? It's very difficult. But that is Krishna's mercy. So Krishna's mercy is always there. Is always there. His mercy is always hanging. So we can always have faith that Krishna's mercy will come. For sure, we can have complete faith. And we can have complete faith also that at every moment when we're practicing devotional service, Krishna is planning to give us the transcendental reward in the heart. Krishna is planning to reveal his love for us. Krishna is planning to reveal his mercy. Krishna is planning to give us a spiritual body. So at every moment, Krishna is thinking actually how to repay, how to repay, how to repay. No mundane person thinks like that, but Krishna is extremely grateful, very grateful. For the smallest thing, Krishna is so grateful. And that's why in this age of Kali, Krishna displayed that mercy to Lord Nityananda. That Nityananda Prabhu is the person who actually is ultimate personification of Krishna's mercy, Lord Chaitanya's mercy. It is said that it is said that anyone who has even a little of the Lord's grace can understand his glories. Others may go on speculating on the absolute truth, but they will always be unable to understand the Lord. In other words, unless one comes in contact with the devotee, it is not possible to understand the transcendental form or the spiritual world and its transcendental activities. So the key here is actually a devotee, a devotee. So I would just like to end with this, that how powerful, how much powerful is actually the instructions of a pure devotee. The instructions of a pure devotee are very, very powerful. Whether we may see the result or we may not see the result, but it's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Like Shamananda Pandit, he was just sweeping the Seva Kunj area for so many years. Like such a simple service. But why was it so effective? Because it was given to him by a pure devotee. So anything a pure devotee says, we should write it as lines on a stone, that it will never fail. So many things may fail. Even Shastra may fail. Certain aspects of Shastra, if you don't perform it properly, it may fail. Because in Shastra, there's so many details, so many things. If we don't execute properly, it may not work. But a pure devotee, because especially, our spiritual master and pure devotees in this movement, they are actually connected to us. And therefore, do, when we actually practice what they're speaking, then we're directly serving them. If we directly, for example, you directly serve Krishna, how much grateful Krishna is. Now, pure devotees of Krishna are a million times more merciful than Krishna. Of course, it's a transcendental. But so imagine how much grateful they will become. Just like an ordinary person, if someone comes and give you a glass of water, you feel grateful. Right? What to speak of someone who dedicates his life every day, he comes and he does something for you. So when we're following the instructions of a pure devotee, we are directly serving his lotus feet. Prabhupada says that when we are reading nectar of instruction, we are directly associating with Rupa Goswami. And when we are carrying out the instructions given in nectar of instruction, then we're directly serving the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami. Just think about the power. Rupa Goswami is the Acharya, is the Rasacharya. He's actually Rupa Manjari, the head of all the Manjaris in the spiritual world. And just think about serving his lotus feet. It's inconceivable. What could be the benefit? I mean, the infinite benefit of doing that thing, isn't it? So, that much fortunate we are. And if we just do this, I always remind myself of this, that simply by attachment to the lotus feet of a pure devotee, all desires will be fulfilled. All desires will be fulfilled. There's no doubt. So we simply have to put the complete, absolute faith we need to put in pure devotee and just follow as much as we can. Follow as much as we can. Even if we don't like to follow, even if we are struggling to follow, just try to follow whatever you can. And when you follow with that faith, it's very powerful. Just like few days ago, Sri Dwarkadish Prabhu was saying that how that Kushakrata Prabhu, he just followed Prabhupada's instruction to distribute books. And he got so much mercy that he was able to understand and translate so many books of the Goswami. To translate books of the Goswamis, you don't need just Sanskrit, you need Adhikar. Adhikar. Like it is said that even very exalted devotees were chanting 64 rounds for so many years because they did not take the blessings of Guru or due to whatever reason, just by reading these very exalted books, they fell down. When they fell down in the sense, they were unable to make progress by doing that. So if he is able to do that, that is the power of Prabhupada's mercy. That is the power of the mercy of um, a pure devotee, a pure devotee of the Lord. So we can have a complete faith in this, that Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koriya Ikya. That everything else may fail. Our sadhana, our tapasya, according to our, may fail. But if we somehow or other try to follow, just follow as it is, whatever Prabhupada has said, whatever Guru has said, then our success is guaranteed. We just have to try our level best, and then everything else will be done. Everything else will be done. So, like all these pure devotees, they simply did what everyone else did, but they did without any deviation. Even when there was difficulty, even when the situation was very difficult, they didn't give it up. That's the only difference. The only difference is they never gave it up. They always maintained their perseverance, their determination, their patience. They had that mm, that unflinching faith. They had that unflinching faith. So that is the only qualification. The only qualification is to have um, that unflinching faith in the Lord, in the Lord's, in the instructions of the Lord's devotee. So that is the only thing which is required in Krishna consciousness, is to have that. Like my spiritual master said, this so wonderfully, he said that Nadamuni did not have to come every day and check if Dhruva Maharaj is following the instructions. Just he gave the instruction and one time, he took it as his life and soul and perfected. That's it. One time. That's all. So that is the power of, taking Guru's instruction in the heart, to follow Guru's Shiksha, Guru's authorities instructions. It has a very special empowerment. So, and this movement is thriving on that example that Prabhupada, till his last breath, simply tried to follow the instruction of his Guru Maharaj. That's it. That's it. And from that, everything came. Everything came. So we can also follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, and we can increase the glory of Prabhupada, increase the glory of the parampara by our living example. That is the goal of our life, is to increase the glory of the Guru Parampara by glorifying the power of their instructions, the power of their mercy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone has any question or comment? Online?
It was a great class, Prabhuji. Thank you for it.
Like to share, you shared about the Radharani. So the degree that why she is so anxious and unlimited wish is Krishna is because he's so sensitive to Krishna's or desires, or he doesn't have to tell her, he just gets that. But sometimes we feel like we are told, or we convince ourselves not to be oversensitive in our dealings, or our how do we, like, not to increase your kshetra, or not to, like, just see to it that what you are doing. So how do we correlate or understand that?
Yeah, bro. I think that we have to be sensitive to certain people. That's what it means to not increase your kshetra. We can't be sensitive to everyone, but we can be sensitive to a few people. That we can be sensitive to Shiksha Guru, authority Guru. So we don't have to be sensitive to everyone. We can be sensitive to a few people. So that's the point, because and there's material sensitivity and spiritual sensitivity. They're two different things. Material sensitivity is based on, external. It's like a fake sensitivity. It's not real sensitivity. But spiritual sensitivity means we're trying to please that person. The moment you want to please someone, then immediately from that moment, Krishna will give the Dami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Krishna will give you the intelligence how to please that, in Krishna consciousness. So that is important. If we have that pure mood of pleasing someone, then Krishna will help us to give the intelligence to, please that person, like in a Krishna conscious way. So that's the essence, is to have that pure mood. Yeah. So yeah, it's not easy. Many times we'll be tested also. Speaking about myself, we tested to please devotees. But if we are prayerful and if we are genuinely trying to act for their spiritual welfare, that is a point. So if we're genuinely trying to act for their spiritual welfare, then Krishna will help us. Swayam eva spuratyata. That's the essence of one of the main verses in Prabhupada's teachings. Sevanukhi hi jivado swayam eva spuratyata. So by service, by seva, we please the object of seva, and then the divine realization become revealed in the heart. So that is the essence of one of the essence of Prabhu. And yeah, I wanted to say, so as we serve nicely, what happens is that, and when we please, then the service attitude, becomes imprinted in our consciousness, like this kitchen type of, and all the devotees. So the thing is, when that service attitude become very much imprinted in the consciousness, then anything we do with that service attitude, it becomes very much pleasing, and it will reveal to us many things in Krishna consciousness when we have that service attitude. Hare Krishna. Very unqualified. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong, inappropriate. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo antakoti vaishnavibhyo Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Kishore Prabhu ki.